up. So I want to talk about your cutoff game. So, cutoff game. All right. So how strong is your cutoff game? How strong, how fast can you just cut off a person? Okay. Because I know for me, sorry, it takes like a lot for me to actually cut off a person. And it's not even like an impulsive, like when I'm really gonna. It's not like an impulsive, like ghosting kind of thing. Like, I actually contemplate, like, okay, like, do I really want this person out of my life? What do they do for me? How do they benefit me? Who the hell is that? You know, just everything like that. Like, I don't do the whole, like, I mean, if I'm fighting with somebody, I'll be like, I don't want anything to do with you, but, like, I'm being serious. But, I mean, when, like, you legit stop talking to them, like, forever. Like you stop. Like, stop. Like, I actually think about it. Because it's like, once you do that, like, you're serious. But, like, for me, if you really get me to fucking cut you off forever, or, like, just never, just don't reach out to you, don't talk to you, nothing, like, you really had to do something for me not to want you in my life ever again. Like, if it happens in that way, okay? So, that's all I'm gonna say with that. But, your cutoff game, when you do it, how fucking crazy is it? Because, like, I will go legit, like, bam, nothing, okay? So I'm watching this thing today, and it was talking about how, you know, whatever. And I was like, because people really try you. And it's like, if you let people take advantage of you over and over and over again, they're thinking that they're getting away with something. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, I'm allowing this to happen. Like, you have no control. I mean, some people do let people have the control to, like, you know, whatever. In my situation, it's like, no, I'm deciding this. It's up to me. It's never been in your control, but I tolerate bullshit at a very high level because I always have, because that's how I was brought up, and I had to do it growing up. So it's like, that's what I knew. But once I realized I'm an adult and I don't have to do that anymore, everything changed, right? So it's like, I have such a high tolerance for bullshit, but I don't need to. I don't have to. And I shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't just keep giving people chances over and over and over again to try you. They just keep trying you. They just think that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they're just gonna. You know what I mean? Because once you're gone, they might not really actually think that you had the balls to actually do it because you never showed it in the past. But what they don't know is what they don't know. Like, they're not in your head. Like, yeah, they think that they're controlling you. They think they're controlling your feelings and your actions, your emotions, and some of them do. But I'm talking to the people that it doesn't, okay? And actually the people that it does too, because you can learn from it. Because it's like people that I have known, mainly guys. I mean, I've cut off girls too, but it's like out of friendship, but it's different. Because depending on the situation or the girl or whatever, like, I could eventually actually talk to them, and you could eventually talk to the guy too, whatever. But it's different, because if you've been letting a manipulating person, guy or girlfriend or boyfriend or girlfriend, it's like, they will literally think that it's okay to just keep doing it and not respecting you. And that's mainly the reason why we leave people, is because they're disrespecting us, they're cheating on us, they're doing, you know, they're talking behind our back, they betrayed us, they lie, they, you know, all the above. I don't even have to, all the bad things, right? Like, that's why, if there was any good things, then you wouldn't be leaving them behind. But when you have a cutoff game that is undeniable, and it is so, like, hold on. Okay. But when you have a cutoff game where it's like, somebody wouldn't understand, where am I going? I think it said this way. Okay. where you have a cutoff game where like you would never think, right? Because I think a lot of people are way stronger than they actually come off to be, and a lot of the reasons could be because you're testing people, right? I mean, let's not lie about that. You're testing people, but some people are just testing them to know if they're protected or safe around a person. They're not manipulating them. They're testing their behavior and their actions and the way they do things and go about things and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, when you can cut off a person so easily where it looked like you never would, that's scary. That's scary. It is. It's intimidating. It's very scary because that person never thought in their life that you would be one of those people. They thought that you would just always be around. That's why I always say, like, don't be, well, I don't always say it, like, especially, like, on here or anything. But, like, I always say, like, don't always be available for people. Because, one, they don't deserve it. And two, if you're always available, they're going to think you're always available to them. They're going to think you're always going to be there. You're not going to be a priority. Like, whatever. So it's very important that when somebody is doing that to you, that you can be strong. Like, see, okay, like, I'm not saying, like, it's easy, okay? But what I am going to say is discipline is very important. Because if you really don't want to do something, if you really want to leave somebody, if you really want to, like, stick to it, you have to. You can't just say you're going to do something and then you can't say that you're going to do something and not do it if you're serious. Like, if you're serious. Like, I've been in positions where I would say to somebody, I'm not talking to you anymore. And I would go a long time without talking to them, right? I could go months or whatever. Then you have, like, especially if you're a Gemini, because you have, like, and you're talkative. So if you have, like, a weak moment, or you're drunk, or any of the above that just makes you reach out to this person, or maybe you heard from a mutual friend that they weren't doing good, or they had a death in the family, you know, something. There's a weak moment because you used to love this person, you used to care for them, and if you didn't, then you wouldn't have ever had them in your life, right? So it's like you can't sit there and half talk to them and half not, because one, you're not committing to yourself for your own respect and your own whatever, your respect. Like, you're not gonna get respect if you don't respect yourself, right? And if you respect yourself, where is this place? If you respect yourself, then you wouldn't let somebody continuously on a daily basis or whatever continue to disrespect you and treat you like crap and, you know, all the above. So you have to show that you know your worth enough to not talk to this person, because the more you engage and the more you keep going and why would it do that? And the more, like, you say, like, oh, I'm not gonna, but you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, it doesn't show that you respect yourself. So it's like, again, I know there's a Chick-fil-A of that over here. So again, you have to, that sucks. You have to really know what it is you want, in order to, really cut off a person. Because if you really want to, you will. You know, like, just like how people will be like, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time to do this, blah, blah, blah. But they tell you that they love you and that they care about you, right? Or they say they didn't have time to text you, or they didn't have time to do whatever, call, you know, calling is different. Texting, it takes 2 seconds. But, and if it's too much to text, then a phone call, you know. But, the thing that makes no sense is that if you meant something to them, or if you were a priority, taking 5 minutes out of their day to either call you or answer your text message shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. So that's what I mean. Like, you gotta really want nothing to do with this person again, because if you don't, and you're still like wobbly, and you still have feelings for them, and you still want them in your life, you can still have feelings for them and still cut them off. But if you don't have feelings for them anymore, and you just want to cut them off, you really got to stick to it. So if they message you, if they call you, you can't, you can answer it, but it's the way you handle the conversation and navigate yourself to be able to really understand, not even where you're at with this person, but how much you respect yourself, especially if, they're talking to you and everything, and then, they just disrespect you again, especially like when they're talking to you at that time. Like, if they're trying for you to talk to them again, oh, here it is, okay. Oh, wow. If they're trying to have you talk to them again, and they're being rude while doing it, like, they just proved your point, you know what I mean? And a lot of people, either they do understand and they act like they don't. Ugh, I can't wait to get a haircut. They either act like they don't, or they really just don't, and they're oblivious to their behavior and think that they're doing nothing wrong, because either they've never had somebody point it out to them before, or they've never had somebody point it out to them in a way that you have, or they've never had discipline or punishable action for it. Like, maybe like if it was a guy, like all their girlfriends just fucking took it, you know what I mean, and he was the one that ended up breaking up with them. I don't fucking know, but like, I'm just making up examples. But it's like, if somebody's never shown them, or even shown them the same amount of fucking energy of bullshit and rudeness and etc. that they have done to you, they're not gonna get it. So sometimes you have to really, really, really consult with yourself. Some people have a cutoff game where they'll be like, all right, I'm done. And they really are. Like, they're like, whatever. But it's like the first time. I'm not saying like it's a person where like, they've done it a million times and then they finally do it. Like, this is a person that can be like, all right, you disrespected me once, I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? And I'll be like that from now on, but I wasn't. But it's like, I just think back and I'm like, I can't believe I kept doing it. I can't believe it. But like, you gotta be ready. Like, you gotta be ready. You got to, because you can't be on your A game if you're still wobbling with your emotions and giving in. Because if you give in, obviously you're not strong enough yet to be able to cut them off completely. So you really gotta contemplate what it is you want, what it is, and how much you'll deal with and put up with. There's a lot. Like, you can't, you can, I'm not saying you can't, but to be able to cut off a person isn't always easy, because it could be like, okay, so I had to like cut off my ex, my son's father, and I was able to do it. But the thing is that, like, say I had to co-parent with him, and I really didn't have to, like, I did actually, but like, I went through his sister, or I went through his dad, or, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't have to go through him. But some people still have to deal with the people that they cut off, and it's difficult. But like, again, you can still have a relationship with somebody, cut them off, but like, if it's a co-parenting or a family member, but it's the way you navigate the situation. It's the way you deal and handle people that will still show they're cut off. Like, just be like, you know what I mean? It's like, off of having to associate with them for whatever the reason is that you're connected, kids, family, job, whatever it is, it's like you still don't have to talk to them outside of work or outside of your home or outside of your kid. Like, you don't have to have any conversation with them outside of anything that it is that you have the attachment to them. You don't really even have attachment to them. It's just they're in your life because you can't get them out like, permanently. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to say that because people can be really like shocked and be like, I thought that she was just gonna, or he was just gonna do what they did last time and just come back. And it's like, no, people can really get fed up and want to just move on with their lives and have a better life for themselves, especially if they've grown out of the person or the situation, or they just don't jive anymore. And you can fall out of love with people. You can still have a place in your heart for them, but that doesn't mean, you know what I mean? But you really got to look at the difference between loving somebody and a trauma bond, okay? Because when you're in a relationship with somebody and you've been through shit, it becomes a trauma bond. Like, you have a trauma that you shared together. Like, I just had a miscarriage, right? The person that I had a miscarriage with, if I continued talking to him, which I'm not, and I haven't since, literally since, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like, if I continue talking to him, it could be because of we had that traumatic situation together. But even if we weren't together or we didn't like talk like that or whatever, like, it still could have been some kind of attachment to each other. Like, he gave me Brutus, but that's not a trauma bond. You know what I mean? But a trauma bond can also be, no, that's not a trauma bond. Is it a trauma bond? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if it's the same thing. There's relationships that when people are in trauma their whole lives, they look at a relationship from a high to low. So you can be like really okay, really happy, and then like days go by and you start getting gloomy and whatever, and they could be ignoring you or whatever it is, or you guys can be fighting. And then it's like the narcissistical thing. Like, all of a sudden it like flips and he says, or she says sorry, and you guys are fine and you're happy again. And then this cycle happens over and over again. And the reason why people stay in that is actually because of the roller coaster of the adrenaline, of the oxytocin, and it balancing in a way, but not in a healthy way. You know what I mean? Like, you're going from high to low from, so it's like, that's not really fun. But it's the cycle, the rhythm, the attachment, the repeating. Routine and repeating is so important, because it's like, if you've been in jail or something, routine is so important because like that's what makes you safe. That's what you're used to. You know what I mean? Like, I've dealt with my ex being in jail, in and out of jail, and it was fucking horrible. But if he had a routine, it was better. Which the routine was usually waking up and going to get high, but it was a routine. Just kidding. I am at where I need to be. But yeah, I was thinking about that today, and I was like, you know, people really don't understand how strong you are if you don't show it. And not even like that. Like, I mean, like, nobody might be able to think that you can do the things you do until you do it, because they're just taking advantage of you, or they're taking you for granted, or they just think that you're weak because you haven't done that yet. And maybe you've said you were going to do it so many times and you just never did. So it's like, once you do, the game is over. You know what I mean? So if somebody's playing games with you, you're going to end up making them play your games, which is no game. Because there's no attachment. There's no, we're still talking. There's no nothing. Like, you're not talking. Like, you literally cut this person out. So if they try to play games with you, there's no games to play. Because they're not a part of your life. They're nothing to you. I mean, they could still be a human being that, like, you know, whatever. And you can still care about them, you know, just, and you can still love them. You can still have feelings for them. It's a breakup or something. And even if it's not a breakup, and you still have feelings for them, and it's just a letting go or separating or just cutting them out of your life, it's discipline. It's not easy. You can be in love with somebody and not want to leave them, but you know it's healthy for you, and you know it's better for you, and you know it's not okay what they're doing, and you need to go. Right? So, yeah. Your cutoff game can shock people depending on how they think of you. And that's another thing you need to like think of is, does this person really think I'm that weak that this actually won't happen? No matter how many times I've said it was going to, no matter how many times I have and then I came back, does this person really think that I really won't? Because sometimes people can push you to an edge, or something can happen and you're just like, damn. And that can change your whole perspective on a person and your feelings that make it easier to move on. All right, I'm walking to a fucking barber shop right now to get my hair cut. So, it should be fun. I like purposely didn't wear like a dress or anything because it's all guys. And I'm just like, I just want to go get my hair cut. I don't want to, like, that's a whole nother thing. But, and you know what? When you let go of people, other people come into your life. Better people. Like-minded people, because you're not blocking it. And when you clear your mind completely, that's when the magic happens. Promise. All right, guys. I gotta go. Love you.